Hello, welcome everyone to a little Matt 4 for Ford Media for here for 239 playoffs. Per the norm, I forgot to change the title, so title will be off. This is the quick playoff preview. I wrote some things that I really wanted to get this out Friday night, but I had to wait for the announcements, the matchups. It's gonna be short and sweet, we'll say, as they are the number one seed. Yeah, it's gonna be quick. Just a quick little look into each series, and I will put out the lines here, and then I'll also put the lines out for the series, for the over-unders, and text on Discord shortly after this. I didn't really announce I was doing this on Discord. I was planning on getting this VOD transfer over to YouTube and then putting the link to YouTube out for everyone to see, because I think a lot less commercials from what I hear. People watching the stream, so that's that. All right, so let's get it rolling. All right, so we had the number one seed, short and sweet, and they decided to select, which became a shock to a bunch of people, Labia, who's actually the number two seed. I saw Pal in his write-up, people saying like, "Oh, big balls move," and this is what it is to be like a dominant team. You pick the one seed versus a two seed. I'm not really buying any of that, to be honest. I think I honestly think Short and Sweet thinks Labia is their toughest test. I believe the core of Short and Sweet, Nutzenberger and Brandon and JC all play 239, all play LG, all play esports. They're playing a lot of hockey. So I think they decided, let's just find out week one if we're going to win the championship or we're not. I think that's basically what it came down to. I think if they were not playing as many games, especially JC and Brandon being full time, you got full time LG Esports, and Brandon's a goalie too, so you could be playing 5 times. I mean, that's a lot of hockey. So I think that was the gist of it. They had their series on December 29th, so I bet ago. Actually, all four of these series, besides one of them, played a long time ago. Labia won the series 2-1. They won 4-3, lost 2-3, and won 3-2. I believe two of the games went to overtime. Labia had Reap in. They had their normal lineup of Karpinas, Lemansky, Epic, Trey, Jesus, and net. Trey and Wizzy, or not Trey, I'm sorry. Reap and Wizzy go in and out as their PT right wings. I think they had slightly more success with Reap on the right wing, so I would say this is Labia's A squad, where Short and Sweet, they did have Nutzenberger playing, but they looked like they had a waiver for shotgun. I think Dangle filled in for shotgun. I mean, it's probably, I mean, for waiver, it's their lowest end starter, so I don't think that was much of a drop off there, except obviously maybe for chem reasons. And they had full send playing right wing. Now, I don't think they have. I think when full does play, he plays right wing, but I wouldn't be surprised if he even gets in any of these games. Just the way they have, I think, and then they moved Nutzenberger to right wing, where he can get out in the break more 1-on-1 and be a lot more dangerous for Short and Sweet. So I think usually I would say Short and Sweet's A squad right now would be Shotgun, Pale, Nuts, and then JC, and I always and Parks. I always draw a blank on right there. Sorry, Parks. Uh, yeah, and I actually think Captain Suzuki will be playing right wing in the other games. And I'm full send. I think will just be I guess super utility if one of those guys can't go. Like I said, moving Nutzenberger over to right wing, I think helped Short and Sweet a lot with their scoring punch. You could score a lot easier in this game from the wing than you can from the center. I think key factor for the series basically is how is Lemansky going to handle Nutzenberger. Honestly, think if well, actually, I shouldn't say that. I think the key to the series is Labia going 3-0 when Nutzenberger's not playing, which I think is a distinct possibility. I think you're Lemansky. What can you do to upset Short and Sweet? I think when Nutzenberger's not playing, you put slight pressure on JC. I'd shade him to the middle, make him go up the boards to shotgun instead of to Pale and Captain Suzuki. I would even do that when Nutzenberger's playing. I think that would be the way Lemansky and Bud's Ice Hockey Association could pull off the upset. I don't want to say upset. I say upset, but I was debating should I make short and sweet a 1.5 game favorite or pick 'em. It was back and forth, but I slightly went more towards the pick 'em. I think I'm going pick 'em for the series just because I think Lemansky squad is going to go 2-1 in a 3 game. I believe I'm not sure. I didn't see the schedule, but most teams go 3 games the first night, 4 games the second night. So the first 3 games, I think Lemansky squad's going to go 2-1 to be honest. And then Short and Sweet will have the better lineup, and it's going to come back basically and win the series. So if any series is going 7, I actually think it's going to be this one, unless Nutzenberger is playing the first 4. But yeah, so I say pick 'em. If I had to give my pick for the series myself, who's just going to win, I would give the slight edge to Short and Sweet. So with that being said, Masturbators got to pick second because they were the 3 seed, and the first seed picked the second seed. So Masturbators, the number 3 seed, coming in just on an absolute heater to end out the season, and they chose the number 7 seed, Dadbots. So I looked at the matchup as again as they played on December 17th. A lot of stuff has changed since then. Masturbators won that series 2-1. They won 5-1 twice and then lost 2-5. Masturbators team is a lot different than it was then. They had Royalty at right D, and they did not make that Hammer trade yet. But I actually think improved their team quite a bit. Nothing against Royalty. I just think getting Hammer on the squad, these boys would rat, and obviously just better fit for that squad. I think this is a terrible matchup for Dabuds, to be honest. Masturbator's the highest scoring team in the league. Dabuds, of every team that made the playoffs, has given up the most. I try to book through the numbers, anything I can see to make Dabuds. Do they have a chance to win the series? I say no. With that being said, I'm sure Dabuds will find a way to win. Everyone thought, why did Dabuds? They were supposed to be like one of the top teams coming in, and I think we overvalued the Chem a bit, just because we thought we saw Saperley and Killzone, and they used to play with, I think, Prodigious Coot and Big C, I believe, and those boys great chemistry, always play well together. But I think Coots and C were more of the talent of the Chem, so they actually they got lost in the sauce. Would have one of the better left wings, but it just chem wise it wasn't as smooth as it was with Big C and Coot, and just not enough top end talent, to be honest. I mean, Sauce is great, to be honest, the one guy, but I looked at their record. I think they're 7-6-2 with Sauce in record. So just strict wins losses, they're under 500 with Sauce. So, and then also when I did one of the Dabots series on the showcase very early on, and I noticed I was at Wade's World. I've always been a pretty big fan of Wade's World, but he just didn't seem to have it. It wasn't making any of the great saves, and iffy on some of the saves. You're like, I could see them going in, but you would like a save. Ended up in the season 13th in save percentage, so I don't think that really improved much as the season went on. So not much firepower, decent defense, below average goalie. I mean, that's how you become the 7 seed, basically. And then Masturbators finished the season on a heater after they traded Royalty to get their boy Hammer. They went 14, I believe they went 14-2-4 if my stats are correct, since they made that trade. So one of the hottest teams, if not the hottest team in the league to finish out the season. So I got do I? Oh yeah, I do have it. Yeah, I got Masturbators as a huge favorite, so I got them minus 2.5 games. So basically, they win the series in 4 or 5, and you pick Masturbators, they win. And next series, we got the number 4 seed Motor City got to select. Usually when you're the 4 seed, you get whoever's left over. But again, since one picked 2, they were to pick, and they picked the 6 seed Grow Up. Which is interesting because, as you'll see in the next one, Moose, the 8 seed, didn't get picked at all. The only reason they got picked is because they were the last one left. Pretty interesting. Take a look at the series. This was the only matchup where they had games recently. They played on January 27th, so very short ago, with Motor City sweeping Grow Up, winning games 3-2, 7-6, and 7-4. So easy reasons why you could see Motor City picking Grow Up. They just saw them. They just swept them. I mean, I wasn't playing. I don't know if they didn't know that, but come on. Let's see what did I write here. Motor City as one of the highest scoring teams, very consistent. I don't think they made the trade literally all season. But they got Gem Joe. Drawing a blank again on the right winger. As I mispronounced his name a million times. Brode, thank you. Brode Kelch. Kelch actually having a monster season on defense. I might be in NARS contention. People might not believe that, but you look at the numbers. It's also easy to play defense. You put it up one of those guys on the rush. Very dangerous, especially when you give him the puck to Shem. Yeah, from what I heard in that matchup, comms are a little low on the Grow Up side. I think they lost 7-4 the first game. Heard there was some guys not even in the party. So, Motor City, ton of chem, Grow Up. Like when I'm playing my four games with the squad, I don't think that lineup's played once. Don't really practice much. But defensively, you look at the. I mean, myself, I'm a good defensive forward. You got Sando, good defensive forward. You got two good D-men. So I think the plan for Grow Up, if they're going to pull this one off, is basically trap it up and counter rush it. And then in the offensive zone, use your D-men, get a good cycle going, play in Motor City's end. You know, there's forwards for Motor City want to get them fly. So goalies fairly. Sheevers and Weasel both good goalies, above average goalies. So might come down to who. I think Grove's gonna need Weasel to maybe steal a game completely. Besides that, I think I got to give Motor City a slight edge here. I mean, I hate to say it because I'm on obviously Grow Up, but as a media guy, I got to be unbiased to an extent. So we got, boom, Motor City, minus a game and a half for the series. So basically, as long as the series doesn't go 7, or if Motor City wins in 6 or less, they win the bet. And the last series, we got Seize the Gap. They got defaulted basically to their selection, which was Moose, which I'm sure they were comfortable with. It's the tale of two different tales here. Seize the Gap, one of the best teams in the league halfway through the season, struggled down the stretch, where Moose got off to an absolutely horrible start. Actually, a small trade for Sniper. I don't know if chem-wise, comms-wise, whatever, but it managed to work out. I think they were playing a little bit below expectations as well, just to start off the season. But came on very strong. Had to, I think, sweep the last series to get in, which they absolutely destroyed the Dad Bods. I think they won some games like 11-2, 8-1, something like that. So coming on hot. Obviously, Seize the Gap. One of the biggest news in the whole season was them moving Veds, and they said for chem reasons, for comm reasons, don't want to babysit basically. But after the trade, it seems like Seize the Gap just hasn't been the same. I know D-Vets likes to get a lot of games in late with his squad to practice. I think the guys that he trade for, it's hard to really get them on the practice. So that was tough. Yeah, let's see. After that trade, I think Seize the Gap went 4-5 in their next 3 series, and they actually swept Grow Up. I was actually playing in that series, and we had Magnilla, I believe how you pronounce his name, in net, and his save percentages in the game were 50%, 60%, and 50%. I think he gave up 15 goals on 31 shots. I think we outshot Seize the Gap every single game. The middle game was 8-1. I think it got a little hand once it was 4-5-1. you know you're playing and your goalie can't make a save. It kind of gets a bit deflated, and that game was out of reach. So that one, think they scored like 4 or 5 goals in the third period. But game one, I think Grow Up actually outshot Sees the Gap 21-6, but lost 3-1. And none of the goals were like, oh, well, it was a breakaway. So what do you expect? No, they were just goalies got to make them, and it didn't happen. Sees won 3-0 in their matchup. That was Veds was in that series, and that was before the Veds trade. Obviously, that was on December 29th. They won 5-1, 3-2, 4-2. But actually, the stats, time on attack, and shots on net, I think actually were even and maybe even slightly favored to the Moose. So I actually was torn between this one. Early on, I would have said, "Oh, he's huge favorite." I was actually debating about this one, making it a pick'em or -1.5. I think if there is going to be an upset, I think this is the upset alert special. I think Moose definitely have a chance just because of how well they're playing down the stretch where Sees the Gap is going the wrong way. But Rob got his squad going. Sees the Gap still -1.5 favorite. I have to just the whole body of work. Callie's a stud. Got Broomall. I worry sometimes about their B lineup. I'm curious if Sees the Gap is going to stack a line, put Broomall and Callaway on the same line, or they're going to split them. I might favor splitting them and then just have that big game 7 lineup. But we'll see. It'll be very interesting. So yeah, that's my little preview of the playoffs. I went to get that bed a bit earlier. Sorry I can't do that. But yeah, I'll upload it to YouTube and I will put the lines out in Discord tonight. Alright. Have a good night, everyone.